Goddesses and gods gather round. Welcome to Mythology and Makeup. I'm Vanessa, and I'm thrilled to share my passion of Greek mythology with you while I get ready for the day. So let's uncover the fascinating stories of mythology together, from Athena's wisdom to the captivating stories of the muses and everything in between. So grab your brushes and a mirror, and let's unleash the beauty and magic within. Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed their week, and welcome back for another video. So today we're going to get into Tantalus and his family. Tantalus was the king of Lydia, but the transgressions against the gods brought a terrible curse to his family, and it lasted for generations. The curse began with Tantalus. He was the son of Zeus and was respected by the gods. So respected that they even invited him over for dinner. The first dinner went so well that the gods decided that they were going to join him at his house for dinner. But Tantalus chose to test the gods. So, Tantalus killed his son, Pelops. He chopped him up into pieces and boiled him into a stew, which he fed the gods for dinner. Before the gods started eating, they realized there was something a little off about their meat. But before Demeter could take another bite, because she already took a bite, okay? They punished Tantalus for his crimes, sending him into the depths of the underworld and in Tartarus. This is where he would forever be tantalized by food and water that were just out of reach. Pelops was brought back from the dead by the gods and put back together, but the piece that Demeter ate was missing. So they replaced that with a piece of ivory. He wasn't affected by the curse, so he eventually sought out a wife. He ended up marrying Hippodamina, who he won in a chariot race. It's said that she had her father's charioteer, pull a pin out of the wheel so that Pelops would win at ease. After they were married, Pelops killed her father by throwing him off of a cliff. And as he was falling, he cursed Pelops, adding to the family's curse that they already had. The next part of the curse is with Tantalus' daughter, Niobe, which I covered in episode 4 of Leto's story. After that curse, it went to his two sons, Artis and Theseus, I believe, as I'm saying that right. Theseus decided that he wanted his brother's wife, and this pissed him off. So he decided that he was going to punish his brother by killing his kids and then boiling in them and feeding them to Thyest. I don't know what the family's theme is on killing their children and forcing them to eat them, but the gods didn't like cannibalism. No. Atreus wasn't punished for his crimes, but his children were. His kids lived out the family curse. Menelaus and Agamemnon. They were the sons of Atreus, and Aegisthus was the son of Theseus. So those three children lived out the curse. Menelaus' wife Helen was kidnapped by the Prince of Troy, which started the Trojan War. Agamemnon, on the other hand, had the curse as well. In order to In order to have favorable wind to sail off for war, he had to sacrifice his own daughter. When his wife found out about this, along with his cousin, they planned their revenge for 10 years during the war. So let's learn a little bit more about Agamemnon. Agamemnon, I know I've mentioned him a couple times, so we're finally going to learn about him. He was the king of Mycenae and the brother to Menelaus, the king of Sparta, and a member of the house of Artus, meaning he had the family curse. He was the leader of the Greek army that sailed to Troy to wage war against the city to return Helen to Menelaus. Agamemnon's story comes from the Iliad, one of the oldest works of literature. Achilles became fed up with Agamemnon. See, the Greeks had raided many of the cities and towns nearby, and they captured a slave. And her father, who was a priestess of Apollo, had gone to the Greeks pleading to release her. And Agamemnon refused. So Apollo caused a plague to descend upon the Greeks as payback. Like, just give the girl back, bruh. Just making it worse for you. Once the plague had gotten bad enough, Agamemnon returned his little slave to her father. But there was one condition. In return, he wanted the woman that Achilles had taken for himself. This decision made Achilles vow that neither of his men or himself would help the Greeks anymore with their war against the Trojans. The Greeks tried their best to survive without the help of Achilles, but the Trojans had a Hector, a very skilled warrior, and the Greeks were no match to him without Achilles. As the war went on, the gods interfered in the fates of the Greeks and the Trojans. Hera and Athena did everything they could to help the Greeks. Both the goddesses hated Troy because of Paris's decision he made to take Aphrodite's side, and I will get more into depth in that when I talk about Paris, because that's really like what started the beginning of the Trojan War. Apollo, Aphrodite, and even sometimes Zeus helped the Trojans. Eventually, Agamemnon came to his senses and decided that they needed to figure out a way to get Achilles back on their side. So, Agamemnon and some other Greek leaders gathered a collection of offerings to entice Achilles to start helping them again. But nothing they gave him changed his mind. He said, "Fuck you. I'm not helping you. I'm not helping you at all. I'm just going to sit back and watch you guys lose and suffer." So let's learn a little backstory on Achilles and Patroclus. Achilles was the son of Peleus, the king of Phthia, and Thetis, the daughter of a sea god. At the wedding of Achilles' parents, the apple of discord made such an argument between Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. When Patroclus was a boy, he went to Phthia for purification since he killed another boy by accident. And this is how Achilles and Patroclus met. They became super close. Best friends, inseparable, you name it. They may have had a relationship, sexual relationship, a romantic relationship, but we don't know. We don't know. But they were super close nonetheless. Super close. So, before Achilles withdrew himself from the war with Troy, he knew he needed to speak with his mother. He told her that what Agamemnon had done. His mother went straight to Zeus, pleading with him to help Achilles punish the Greeks for what they had done to her son. When Agamemnon offered him all the gifts that anyone could ask for, he refused. He felt slighted. He felt so slighted that giving in and helping would embarrass him even more. Achilles felt like he needed to be the most important person in the group. But when Nestor, one of the Agonauts, asked Tantalus, I can't say that name. Okay, we're just gonna say Achilles' best friend. I don't know why I can't pronounce it, but it's starting to irritate me. So he went up to Achilles' best friend and was like, "Hey, some of the Greek leaders had been hurt so badly. I need you to take Achilles' armor and disguise yourself as Achilles." He told him he only needed to act like Achilles. Like, he didn't have to fight like Achilles. Like, I just need you to act like him. That's it. Just act like him, and everything will be A-okay. Everything will be fine. And so, this moved Achilles' best friend and made him sad to see that all the Greeks were dying at the hands of the Trojans. So he went to Achilles and tried to convince him to let him borrow his armor. He told Achilles that he wouldn't get hurt. Achilles agreed, and so he took his armor and rode off for battle. But things never go as planned in Greek mythology, as we've come to know. So when he gets to the battlefield, Hector sees him, and he's like, "Achilles, I must kill you. Achilles is mine." And went straight for him. He killed him easily, just slaughtered him. Achilles saw this and was horrified and heartbroken because he had just lost his best friend. Achilles went out on the battlefield with one purpose and one purpose only: to kill Hector. He went batshit crazy, killing everyone in his path, and eventually he made his way to Hector, and he killed him too. The Iliad ends shortly after the death of Hector, but Achilles also met his end closer to the end of the war. Paris shot an arrow at Achilles' ankle, where he was the most vulnerable spot. See, when Achilles was a baby, his mother dipped him into a potion of immortality, and the only piece that the potion didn't touch was his ankle. And so now we're going to learn about the man who killed Achilles and the man that kind of just started the beginning of the Trojan War. His name is Paris. Paris was the prince of Troy. His brother was the famous hero in the Trojan War, Hector. When Paris was born, his mother had a dream that one day he would cause the city of Troy to burn. So she exposed him to the elements in an attempt to avoid that fate. But what is it with these parents thinking that these babies are going to die in the elements when it just never happens that way? It just never happens. Like, just kill the baby. If you think it's something bad, like, you had this dream and I'm just going to put my baby outside to die. Paris was raised by a shepherd who eventually, before eventually returning to Troy. When Paris was young, he was brought to the gods. He was brought in by the gods to settle an argument that was called the Judgment of Paris. Years later, there would be a wedding where the heroes were marrying the gods, and all the other deities and gods were invited except for Iris, the goddess of strife and discord. She crashed the party bearing a gift, a golden apple, but it wasn't meant for the bride and groom. It was said that she tossed the apple towards 3 goddesses who were gathered around together: Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena. On the apple was inscribed, "For the fairest of them all." You know, a little Snow White moment. An argument started between the 3 goddesses. It got so heated that Zeus had to step in. He looked at Hera. He looked at his daughter. He looked at his daughters and realized there was no way he was going to be able to make this call. Like, this is not for my call. I am not getting into this, getting in between this any further. So, when a young man from Troy, he said that a young man from Troy would make the call in the future when he was born. So when that time came, Hermes found Paris and brought him straight to Zeus and asked to finally settle this little argument. Hera offered Paris power. She told him that he would make him the most powerful king if he chose her. Athena offered him success in war and said that he would never lose in a battle. Aphrodite offered him love. She offered him the most beautiful woman in the world. So, a young man was offered these things. What do you think he's going to pick? He picks the most beautiful woman, obviously. He's like, oh, the most beautiful woman? Oh, yeah. Let me choose that option. With the decision made, it was revealed that the most beautiful woman of all would be a woman named Helen, who just so happened to be currently married to the king of Sparta. Since Helen already had been promised to Paris, he thought, like, she's mine. I can have her if I want. So, in the middle of the night, he stole her. And they were long gone by time Menelaus realized that she was missing. And there was really nothing that he could do about it. It's not really known if she went willing or not, but this is Greek mythology, so she probably didn't. Helen and Paris honeymooned on the Greek island for a little bit before returning to Troy. And this is what started the Trojan War. Let's learn a little bit about Clytemnestra and her children. Clytemnestra was the sister of Helen. She was the daughter of Zeus and Leta, a princess of Sparta, until she married Agamemnon. Together they had 3 kids. In some accounts there's a 4th child, but for this the 4th kid doesn't really matter. Oh, one of the children, Agamemnon sacrificed to get some good wind to make it to the war, See, how he did this is he told his daughter, Agamemnon went to his daughter and was like, honey, you're going to marry the beautiful hero Achilles. And she was like, oh yeah, Yeah, so she went along with her father. He brought her to what she thought was the marriage ceremony, but instead, this is where he killed her. After Agamemnon returned from war 10 years later, he did not return alone. He returned with a slave named Castramata. She was the princess of Troy and a powerful prophetist. While Agamemnon was away, Clytemnestra had been plotting his demise. Agestus was Agamemnon's cousin, who had tried to take control over the city while Agamemnon had locked him up for it. Clytemnestra had freed him, and together they came up with a plan to kill Agamemnon. They both were angry at him. One, his wife, he killed our daughter. What? Sacrificed her for a little bit of good wind? Come on now. Not cool. As soon as Agamemnon returned to the palace, Clytemnestra led him to a bath that she had made for him. In his head, he thought, wow, how nice of my wife. I've been gone for 10 years and I deserve a nice little warm bath. As soon as he got into the bath, Clytemnestra and Aegisthus brutally killed him. The other two of her children did not agree with what their mother killed their father. They wanted to avenge their father's death. Together, they planned their mother's murder and her lover's murder. Some sources say that one kid did it, and then other sources say that the other kid did it, but it doesn't matter. They killed their mother, okay? They planned the murders. So, I guess Clytemnestra got what she wanted, but then she was brutally murdered as well by her children. There's just a lot of murdering that happens. So that's a little bit about the Trojan War. Let's learn a little bit about the Danaids. They were 50 women whose father was a dude named Danus. They originally came from Africa and they were descendants of Aya. They and their father fled to Greece after their uncle was going to make them marry their 50 cousins. And they were very opposed to this marriage. When they got to the city of Argos, they were experiencing a horrible drought caused by Poseidon and his anger at Hera because she became the patron goddess of the city. So the Danaids set out to find water for them. When they were searching for water, one of the girls, I'm just going to call her Amy, okay? She threw a spear and hit a sleeping stare. Before the stare could assault her, Poseidon appeared and stopped the animal and assaulted her instead. When he was done, he took Amy to the springs, and this was kind of his way of saying thanks for letting me have my way with you. So shortly after this, their 50 cousins found them. And this time, they couldn't get away. from the marriage. So they came up with a plan. On the day of their wedding, their father gave each girl a little dagger. And so the ceremony, they did a little ceremony, they all got married, and, you know, when they left to, you know, get a little close with their new husbands, they all went to their own little houses, you know, went on their little own. And as their husbands were sleeping, all of them, except one, stabbed their husbands to death. Hyperomestra couldn't bring herself to kill her husband. She woke him up and he fled to Argos. She was imprisoned by her father for not killing her husband. And the rest of the Danaids buried the heads of their husbands next to the spring and had a funeral for them. As punishment, they were sent to the underworld where they had to fill buckets of water, but there were holes in these buckets, so they would completely drain before they could be transported anywhere, and they had to do this for all eternity. You know, in my opinion, I would have done the same thing. You're gonna make me marry my cousin? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm gonna finish my eye makeup on camera. I think my eyeliner's running a little low. Alright, I'm back. So, next week we're going to learn about Odysseus and what happened after the Trojan War. In the story of the Odyssey, which that is my favorite. The Odyssey is my favorite. But I hope you guys enjoyed my video today. It's always nice to see your guys' comments down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I will be back. Why did I just put blush on my forehead? What am I doing? Guess my forehead's gonna be a little blushy today. Sometimes I think maybe I have like blush blindness when I put blush on, because like sometimes I'm like, wow, I went a little crazy with this blush today. But it's okay. If you guys want me to, I can go more in depth on the Trojan War. I'm perfectly fine doing that. Go more in depth on what happens in the Iliad. I could definitely do that. I could have a whole video dedicated just to the Iliad. If that's what you guys want. I can go more in depth on any Greek mythology character that you want me to. Just leave a comment down below and I'll do that. But again, thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next Saturday for another upload. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys.